Bow bow banger management fantasy hockey podcast. Woo!
Woo! Woo!
Karaoke woo.
Yeah. Karaoke again for Jakey, who is still not here because he is currently traveling to Japan. I think as we speak, they're in
Yeah,
Kyoto, actually.
that's
So
crazy. He's taken his karaoke tour across the globe.
it's really serious now. He's like, we thought, if you guys thought we were joking when he was only in Korea, now he's actually in Japan and he's going full force. So
Yeah.
listen, it might just be a duo from here on out if Jakey's career actually takes off.
But keep an eye
Um,
out if you're any BTS fans. You might see a Jakey collab there.
that would actually be so cool. Jakey, I feel like is the last person I could ever picture doing like a BTS like dance or sing. Jakey actually loves to sing. So
Yeah, I
and
mean, he's gonna sing for us when he comes back, right? That's what he promised us.
I do remember him promising that. What did you say? You said he promised us that he was singing his favorite
He's gonna sing
karaoke song, right?
his go-to karaoke song, exactly. So that's great for the viewers. Talking about things that the viewers, are expecting. We hit a big milestone recently, which was 200 Discord members, and I
And
think
there was
that
nothing that was promised for that.
I think the viewers are owed a Kevin booty shake video. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be lit. But yeah, I don't think we mentioned we are diving into our week 12 streamers episode, and we're super excited to get into this with you guys. As always, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Rate us 5 stars if you like what you hear. It helps us a lot, makes us super happy. I like going through, especially leave comments too. I love that. I go through the YouTube, we go through the Spotify, the wherever. It's great. Makes us happy. If you guys like what you hear, then letting us know always makes my day. Definitely join the Discord. We hit 200 recently, so that's super, super hype. And it's growing and growing, and really that's a lot of value there. So obviously, number one value is listening to the pod, but where we get really in depth with our analysis. But number two is joining the Discord because we are super active there, especially Kevin. Shout out to Kevin for his
Thank you. I
contributions
appreciate the
on
shout
there.
out.
But yeah, no, it's great. And so yeah, so let's dive in. But seriously, help us, help you, give us all those ratings and stars and all that yummy fun stuff for us.
I'm proud of you, Josh. That was a pretty good.
I know. I
Pretty
never
good
I
segue
never
right
do
there.
that part. It's I did my best.
And listen, I'm just gonna put it out there, guys. I asked for a new complete computer for my Christmas list, so Santa better
Woo!
deliver. And listen, hopefully we get this stuff figured out.
Look, if
But
Santa's a fan, which I bet he is, there's a lot of hockey in the North Pole, so I expect him to deliver the best quality for Kevin so that he could get back to, showing his booty. He actually did the booty shake just now, and
yes,
the camera cut out.
it could not handle it.
Honestly, it's really unfortunate. We're gonna have to hit another 100 people in the Discord before we
Yes.
get the next one.
Oh no! It was all a ruse the whole time, guys.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
alas.
So yeah, let's get into our reputation stakers, our top 3 choices from week 11. So last week we recommended Ryan O'Reilly of the Nashville Predators. Since then, 3 games played, 0 goals, 4 assists, 4 points, easy W. Spoiler alert: he's going to be on our list again. What he's been doing is pretty incredible for someone that I don't think anyone expects that team to provide much offense. So I really expected it to be Forsberg and friends. So O'Reilly being over a point per game over the past month is nuts. So that's definitely a big W. We had Elias Lindholm. Since then, 3 games played, 0 goals, 2 assists, 2 points, both on the power play. I'm counting that as a W. He's another guy who's like really low rostered. Well, I mean, he's at like 34 now, but he's line 1C on Boston. He has to play with the 2 best wingers in the league, and David Pasternak and Morgan Geekie. And I really think that boat's going up on that one. And then we did have an L, which was Josh Doan, and that was our top choice because I was really hype on him. So I'm going to take the blame for that one.
Thank
He
you.
had 2 games played, no points. I will say he still has 2 more games.
Yeah.
Or no, he only has 1 more game this week. But so we'll see what happens. He can still turn it around. But we're going to keep ourselves honest here and count that as an L. So that puts us at 20-7 on the year. That's a pretty still. We're still around 75% on our recommendations, which is pretty sick.
Yeah, and every week we're recommending 3 players, right? So if we're not getting 3 on 3, it's 66% success rate. So the fact that we're at 75 means that we're hitting 3 on 3 more often than not. And also, like we did mention that yes, Josh Doan, like he had less games than these other 2. First of all, this last week, but he also has rest of season upside, and that was one of the reasons why we put him so high on the list, because he has great deployment. He's on that power play 1 for Buffalo, and listen, with Josh Norris is there, the Buffalo power play is going off. So
Absolutely.
you want exposure to it, and I
Yeah.
think Josh Norris is still a good pickup moving forward, even if he didn't come through for you with flying colors this last week.
Yeah, I fully agree. I like his shots. I like his deployment. And Buffalo just made a GM change. GM says they want to be more competitive, so I say keep an eye out on that team. And I'm still happy to have Don on my roster.
Did you see the rumors for the coaching change too?
That would be crazy. Man, Lindy Ruff just gets wrecked everywhere he goes. I mean, there's a couple teams that should have a coaching change. Like off the top of my mind, LA needs to change coaches. Yeah. Toronto needs to change coaches.
I think Toronto. The link that I saw was Pete DeBoer to Toronto.
I saw that. That would be sick. As a Matthews owner, I'd be pretty hyped about that.
The other rumor I'm seeing, I mean, as we're recording this, the holiday trade freeze has come into effect, so we're not going to see any changes until after the holidays. But I saw
John Tortorella.
John Tortorella is probably a name that Buffalo would consider, even if they probably shouldn't. But I also think Buffalo's gonna probably send out a goalie. Like I think they got 3,
I saw that.
They got 3 goalies, and I think one of them is on their way out. And
to Edmonton.
I mean, listen, Edmonton. I don't know. They don't have any more cap flexibility. That's for sure. And they don't have a second round pick to send for a goalie anymore either. But they do have Chris and Jari on the IR, so as long as that works out for them,
they could
use another goalie.
It's actually unreal how he immediately got injured, as could have been predicted by us and was predicted by us. But yeah, no, I've been seeing that. I mean, 3 goalies makes no sense. I don't know what Carolina's doing. Buffalo, you gotta trade one and run with the 2 that are the best. So
the thing is, Line and UPL have like juice.
Yeah.
Whereas they don't want to trade Bussy and they don't want to trade Kochetkov. So who's taking Anderson?
Someone would take Anderson. I mean, I'm surprised that
only if they're desperate, I think.
I guess. I mean,
for the same reason as Jari,
that's fair.
They don't want to trade for him and then he gets hurt. So.
No, that's very fair. But in terms of Buffalo, I mean, Colton Ellis has been really solid, and I feel like you got to trade one of those 3, and they're going to. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that. And they have Levi in the exactly. They just have too many. All right, let's dive into our streamers for this week. So this is a weird week. Let's preface that by saying
it's the Christmas week.
It's the Christmas week, exactly. So you've got games Monday, Tuesday, and then Saturday, Sunday. But that entire middle part of the week is Christmas break. Happy holidays, everyone, and a little break from fantasy. It's a bit bittersweet for me. I mean, I know it's only 4 days, but on the one hand,
you're gonna be usually spending time with family during those days.
Okay, actually, a fun
Merry
tradition.
Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy holidays in general.
Yeah. A fun tradition I have that really pisses off my wife and her family is every year around Christmas we come down and spend it with her family, and every year around Christmas Jakey and I get into trade talks, and it's like an intense 3 days of trade talks. Usually we'll be on the phone, we'll be texting, and it always lands around the holidays, and so they always get upset at me. They're like, come on, get off your phone.
So Josh ruins the holidays with his trade talks.
Yeah, but I got my trade with Jakey out of the way early this year, so unless Kevin wants to enter the mix, I should be very present for the holidays. But
but I think my family would be a lot less accommodating to me messing up Christmas than maybe
I don't mess up Christmas, okay? I just,
just not present at all.
Yeah. No, okay, look, we go to her uncle's every year, right? And it's like an hour-and-a-half drive. And so I'll be on my phone during that hour-and-a-half drive and texting Jakey trade stuff for the past couple of years, right? And they get mad at me for not being present on the drive. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll put away my phone.
Silent looking out the window?
And then I start talking to them, and they're like, "Stop talking to us. We just want you to listen to the music and look out the window." And I'm like, "Why can't I be texting Jakey?
We want you to not do anything and be happy about it."
Exactly. So that's some fun fantasy hockey Christmas traditions for us. But yeah, let's dive in again. So all that to be said, instead of 4-game teams and 2-game teams, we're going to be talking about 3 and 1, because for the average team, they're playing 2 times this week. So there are 2 1-game teams this week. That's Utah and Winnipeg. Utah, their streak of 4-game weeks comes to an end. That was a really fun run. I hope people kind of hopped on to grabbing a Utah guy a month ago, because it was just 4-game weeks back to back. I had Jack McBain that whole time, and it was super fun. But yeah, so 1-game week for those 2. 3-game teams, you've got Chicago, Detroit, LA, Islanders, Philly, Seattle, Tampa, Toronto. Normally I don't go through the whole list, but it's a pretty small list, so I figured it's easy to get through it.
8 teams.
The busy nights are Tuesday and Saturday. So that is going to be it's a weird week. There's not a lot of games and the busy nights are really busy. So
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of schedule optimization questions. So hop into the Discord. We'll be there to answer them.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 off night teams. You've got Columbus, Philly, Seattle, and Tampa. So that has extra value, obviously, on a week like this. So that's Philly, Seattle, and Tampa are the games. They're the teams that have 3 games and 2 off nights. So keep an eye out on those. But let's dive in to our top 10 points guys on the week. This is more general names than specific schedule optimization.
Yep.
But again, hop in the Discord and send us your questions if you have sit starts or stuff like that. All right, Kevin, let's start off with
Number 10.
At number 10, we have Luke Evangelista of the Nashville Predators. He is now line 1, power play 1 because Jonathan Marchessault's day-to-day. But if he does something with it, I don't see him necessarily immediately getting bumped off. So we'll see what happens. But even before this deployment, he was line 1, power play 2. And I think he made it on our last episode because his shooting volume was just unreal. And he was like point per game over the past month. So definitely a lot of interest there in what could potentially be a, longer term hold.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's Nashville and Marchessault can come back and bump him. So you got to take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I think it's important to note too that like with young players like this, like we've seen Evangelista kind of get hot recently, where people are picking him up even without having like the best possible deployment for his for him. But he's the type of young player that usually gets better in the second half of the season, which we're approaching with the holidays about to happen. So I can really see that Nashville is kind of like a sinking ship right now, but they do have a couple bright spots with young talent that they want to let flourish. And Evangelista, I think, is like the top name on that list. And so, if there's an opportunity to be had here, I think he's the one that's going to get it. And Marshall might not be here long term. Stamkos might not be here long term. Ryan O'Reilly might not be there long term. So, it really, I think, there's spots opening up. And right now, he's only shooting at 6%. Like he has a high shot volume, and a 6% shooting percentage is really bad. I can see him getting to like 10 or 12. So if that happens and he's converting, 2 times more often, like he might be a guy that like could be a low key, not league winning pickup, but really like a guy that makes a difference on your roster moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously this week he only has 2 games, but next week he has 4 games.
Yep.
So that's a guy you can pick up and hold for at least those 2 weeks, if not longer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go to
Number 9.
I like the throat clear beforehand. You gotta get it good. I love it. At number 9, we've got Connor Garland of the Vancouver Canucks, line 1, power play 1. The Canucks are funny because first of all they suck, but second of all they've got so many wingers that like have flirted over time with being fantasy relevant.
Yeah.
And honestly, over the past 2 years, kind of a surprise last year, but this year I expected it a bit more. Garland has been the most valuable of those wingers. So we're talking guys like you've got Garland, you've got Besser, you've got DeBrusk, you've got, Evander Kane. Kiefer Sherwood obviously is a different story because that's a bangers focus. But in terms of like points production, you look at all these guys and you're like, okay, someone's got to do something with this deployment, and Garland's the one who's been doing it the past 2 seasons. So I like him as a pickup. This is another one where he only has 2 games this week, but 4 games the week after. And yeah, Vancouver's been winning since they traded away locker room cancer Quinn Hughes, clearly.
Hey, listen, all you need is a handful of games for the sample size to be nice. So
yeah, exactly. Vancouver to the cup.
it's written in the stars, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do think Connor Garland is a worthy pickup because this is the type of guy that usually does a lot when he has deployment. So I think that if, he keeps this deployment, and this is what he's been doing this last week is also without Elias Pettersson, who we know is the best player on this team, who we know that when he comes back, like whether you like him or not, the power play will get better. The wingers around him will get better. So I think there's a lot of, there's a lot of foundation here for Garland to just be like a solid fantasy asset. I think mostly relevant in deeper leagues.
Yeah. All right, let's go to
Number 8.
At number 8, we have Boone Jenner of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Not the best deployment with line 2, power play 2, but he's been doing solid category coverage, which is what he's known for over the years. But also he's a point per game since coming back from injury. It's only 4 games, tiny sample size. But it's something worth noting, again, with their off-night schedule this week and 4-game week the week after. So that's a schedule optimization move. It's rare that we recommend guys who are not power play 1 on here, but look, it's a small, like I said, it's a small week. He's been putting up the numbers and he's got the off nights, so it's worth a look.
Do you think they'd ever trade him?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think they're still trying to compete. I mean, they just made the blockbuster trade last night, right? They
Yep.
traded for Mason Marchment, trading away a second and a fourth. They're kind of desperate for any sort of offense or good play. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that trade if it can, spark anything from them. But no, I don't see them trading Jenner.
I think Jenner is one of the guys on this list that definitely has a stronger banger focus as well. Like
Yeah,
we try to pick guys that are going to be valuable for your leagues that are highly value points, and just guys that will get you points. Right, that's usually the hardest thing to stream. But I think Jenner is one of the guys that will get you hits if you're in the face-off win leagues. Like he's really good at that usually as well. I would say less so recently though. And yeah, but quick tangent on Marchment though. What do you think? Like, is he fantasy relevant? Because to me, I kind of see him in my head. I'm picturing like a Tolvanen, but like less
yeah.
good because he won't get power play one.
You know, honestly, like he can get power play one right
You
now. Like
think?
Chinakov's on power play one. They hate
Yeah, but they
Chinikov.
bumped Monahan, so it's
Yeah,
like I feel
so
like Monahan has a better chance than Marchment.
for sure. But I mean, it just means that there's not a lock on power play one spots. So like, look, am I betting, my house that that he's going to be power play one? No, but I mean, they did go out and trade for him, and they're looking for any sort of spark. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a shot there, and then if he does well with it, he'll keep it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely like worth it. I mean, right now I'm just watch listing him.
Yeah,
I'm not rushing to grab him or anything like that.
you don't make a
But
proactive pickup for a guy that level unless you're in a really deep league.
yeah, exactly. It's not like I really doubt that Marchment becomes that pickup that you regret for the rest of the season if you don't get him.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could put up some solid weeks for you if he gets that power play one for a bit. I don't see it being like a season long thing that'll stick. But in the past, he's been solid bangers, right? Shots and hits, like you said with the Tolvin in comparison.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't have power play one, not much interest. I mean, he wasn't good on Seattle, and
No.
Columbus is not that much better.
But he
But
was good when he was on Dallas, and he was
he
good when he
was
was on
on
Florida.
Florida. That's it. Like he
So
has
he has the
the
juice in him.
exactly. So any change of scenery is always worth at least watch listing. And look, if you have the free ad and you want to give it a shot for this week, and like if he pops off, you got ahead of the curve, you can do it. But it's not one that I'm like necessarily rushing to make.
Yeah, I feel the same. All right, next one.
Okay, let's go to
Number 7.
at number 7. We've got Frank Nazar of the Chicago Blackhawks, line one, power play one. Two reasons he makes this list because he's not necessarily our favorite lately. One reason is the schedule. He's one of the few teams that plays 3 times and 4 games the week after, so great schedule. And number 2 is this Connor Bedard injury, where normally I'd say Bedard being injured just makes all the Blackhawks worse, but we talked about this on our news episode. The only player who might benefit is Nazar because he's line one now. Look, I still think
Yeah.
in general it'll make him worse because that power play is a lot worse, but he's the number 1 center and he has a great schedule, so it's can't not include him in a list like this.
Yeah, I think Nazar, like you said, is probably like the only guy that maybe holds somewhat value with Bedard being out because he gets bumped up in the deployment. Like he's going to be the main center on this team moving forward until Bedard comes back. The thing is, like his power play one is just not guaranteed. Like I saw them again, like last practice, he was practicing on PP2, and it just does not make sense to me. And like
That's
whether
crazy.
it's
Who are
just
they
like
putting instead of him?
let me go look right now if they updated it to something else. But
But you know what? I did see some like names like Donato and Colton Dock on there. Like they're just
yeah, it
throwing
just
whatever at the wall and hoping it sticks.
and it's just kind of like guys, like give some sort of consistency to your players and let them figure it out a little bit.
Also, this is a guy that they need/want to succeed. So I don't get why they're trying to like hamstring him, especially with Bedard out when it's a no-brainer that he should get the deployment. But
Okay, now power play one is Ryan Green, Nick Lardis, Turbo Teravainen, Frank Nazar, and Artem Leshnov. So the guys that got bumped currently are Bertuzzi, Burakovsky. Those are see, that's what I'm saying. It's just
yeah.
like one day it'll be them, the next day it'll be Nazar. So keep that just in the back of your mind. But I think his 5v5, deployment should be good enough to make him valuable. With the power play one upside, I think there's like a 75% chance he keeps it, but that 25% chance is really annoying.
Yeah, so that's it. Like he's definitely not our favorite, which is why he's lower down on this list.
Yeah.
But the schedule kind of made him an include.
And for bangers, like he does have some blocking game to him. So I would just like to throw that little tidbit in there. So
Nice, that was a great tidbit.
yeah, thank you.
Talking about guys who have a little bit of a blocking game in them, let's go to
Number 6.
At number 6, we have Alexander Wenberg of the San Jose Sharks, line 2, power play 1. He's been on fire the past like week and a half. He had back-to-back 3-point games, 7 points in his last 4 games. He wins faceoffs, he blocks, and he's a lock on power play 1. Even when Will Smith is healthy, like for some reason Wenberg is a lock on that power play unit. I picked him up and he did nothing for me, so then I dropped him and someone else
Mhm.
grabbed him and then he pops off, so that always feels great. But
When you're playing with William Eklund, it's hard not to be successful.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, this one's a super kind of random one, but if your league counts face-off wins and blocks and you want that points upside, then yeah, he's a solid pickup, especially with what he's been doing lately.
Yeah, I think Wenberg is like one of those names that like I'm almost never interested in picking up, but that might just be my biases because in our league of record I'm completely punting face-off wins, and that's one of the best things that he's at. So
Yeah.
I tend to like less value those guys, but you can't argue with the numbers that he's putting up and his ice time. His ice time. He's playing over 20 minutes a night, guys. When somebody's playing that much, it just means that the team values their presence. And if the team values their presence, that means they're going to be on the ice, for crucial moments, and that's when the goals happen. So I do like Wenberg as like end of your kind of like not I don't want to say end of your bench stash, but if you're in a deep league, like he can be a guy that you pick up and you hold for a decent amount of time. And on a week like this, where the schedule is so wonky, like I can see myself streaming him as well. So
Yeah.
he has a good deployment. Like what more could you ask for? That's at the end of the day, that's what we're banking on the most.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go to
Number 5.
number 5 is a guy that I said I don't have much interest in the past. And look, he's having a really good week. Let's just say that. I'm still not the biggest believer, but we've got Vlad Tarasenko of the Minnesota Wild. He's currently line 1, power play 1, and he's been putting up great numbers. This comes with a huge asterisk because first of all, I'm not the biggest believer. So I had to like if the guy puts up the stats, you gotta include him in the list.
Yep.
And it also was a pretty scarce list this week. Like some weeks, I feel like there's so many good guys that are like below 40%, and this week I felt like it was there weren't as many slam dunks. So that's why I'm including him. But yeah, I mean the big asterisk is that Marcus Johansson is on the brink of returning. So is Matt Zuccarello. And I just don't see Tarasenko holding power play 1 once both those guys are back. And then once he's not power play 1, I really think he has no value. So it's tough to be saying all that and then also recommending him like number 5 on this list. But it was just
Yeah.
like very slim pickings. And he put up a 3-point game into another like point. And so he is running a bit hot right now. So like you
I
could do worse.
I will say though, like to your point, we're recording this before the Saturday Sunday back to back, like right before. So as we record this, he has 4 points in his last 2 games. He had a 3-point night, and he scored a goal in his last game. That second line of pure Russians is
Yeah.
low key developing some good chemistry because it's Trenin, who we've talked
Yurov.
about being a banger league beast recently, and Yurov, and he doesn't have any power play points in the last 2 games. So those 4 points are all 5v5. So is that just a product of that line 1 getting the harder matchups and that line 2 having good chemistry and being able to take advantage of like the lesser matchups? I'm not sure, but there's something here that makes me more interested than just Tarasenko being get bumped out when they get healthy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I think there's a world where that second line stays intact because of the chemistry that they have found, and then when the other guys get healthy, we see something happen. That means one of like Boldy or Zuccarello is going to be on a quote unquote line 3, which is hard to imagine in itself, right? So
Yeah.
I wonder how it's going to play out, but just know that like there's little something here in the situation that is not just like black and white. And Tarasenko, I think, is a valuable streamer when those guys are still out.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, let's go to the next one with
Number 4.
at number 4, we have William Eklund of the San Jose Sharks, line
The
2,
GOAT.
power play 1 on Kevin's team.
The GOAT.
He's been really good lately. He's a type of guy like these young guys. I feel like they're very streaky, and he was bad for a while, and now he's really good. And it's really easy. You just pick them up when they're good, and then if you're not in the deepest league, you could just drop them when they're bad. But right now he's good, so it's an easy pickup for me. He was this like top 4. I feel like is a tier break from the bottom 6 that we just mentioned. So I'm pretty excited about Eklund if you have the opportunity to grab him.
Over the last 2 weeks, he's averaging 0.83 points per game, 0.33 power play points, and he's averaging 3 shots a game, which we've seen him kind of hover. I don't want to say he's been hovering around 3 shots a game the whole season, but like when he's valuable, that's what he's shooting at. And then he'll have weeks where he'll get like 1.5 shots or something. So his average is closer to like 2.4, which is still like pretty good if that's what's going to be your average through the highs and the lows. But this is a guy that, is playing on the same power play as Celebrini, who we know is, well, I think you can safely say like he's one of the most talismanic players in the league right now as well.
Absolutely.
And we love talismanic players here at Banger Management. The only thing that I wish is like he was playing with Celebrini.
On a even strength, yeah.
But he gets to play with the other GOAT, Alexander Wennberg.
Exactly. And also, like, he can easily get bumped up to line 1 at any moment. There's no, like, like, he can bump, what is it, Colin Graf or Chernishkov?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
If I don't have the name right in front of me, I'm going to butcher it. So
yeah, so anyways, I think, like, there's definitely an easy line to line 1 if the coach decides it. So, yeah, love Eklund as a pickup. This is definitely more, like, the top 4 is all, like, more season-long hold guys.
Yep. Depends how deep your league is, but I think he's one of the guys that has like the potential to be somebody that's on your roster for the long term.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's go to the top.
Number 3.
At number 3, we've got, mentioned last week as well, but we're mentioning him again, Ryan O'Reilly of the Nashville Predators. Line 1, power play 1. Look, Nashville's scoring some goals, and O'Reilly's involved in, it feels like, all of them. He's over a point per game the past month. And this is just an easy, ride it while it's hot. If your league counts face-off wins, he's got that going for him as well. And I saw recently a quote that said that he doesn't want to get traded from Nashville. He doesn't have a no-move clause, but Trotz kind of said that, like, he wants to work with the player. Yeah, exactly. So, look, who knows what that means, but, like...
Wait, I did not see that. So that's actually huge because, I mean,
he essentially said, like, I don't want to just abandon this team. Like, I'd rather, help be part of the solution, which people took really offense to because when he was in Buffalo, he was like, I'm abandoning this team.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with this.
I mean, I think he just learned from his previous mistake and just is saying that in public. But when they trade him, they'll be like, oh, guys, I didn't want this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, no.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he goes and he wins the cup with the Avalanche.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what happens. But I don't think a trade is imminent. It would be closer to the deadline. So right now, look, he's running hot, so it's an easy grab.
And listen, we're not going to go too much in the weeds of this one because I feel like he's been a mainstay in recent episodes. The fact that he's still below 40% owned, like he's only at 32% as we record this on Yahoo. But over the last month, he's still over a point per game.
Yeah,
that's not nothing, guys. We know Ryan O'Reilly has quality in him. He's just super one-dimensional. Like, you're going to pick him up. We're recommending him here because if you need points, he's one of the guys that can deliver. But he's not going to get you shots. He's not going to get you hits or blocks. And the power play points, I would say, are going to hover around, 0.25 is my guess. Like between 0.15 and 0.3-ish. So you know that you can get the points, but I'm not expecting him to get me anything else.
Yeah, I will say,
but he's also trade bait. I think, like, if you have him on your roster and somebody, you add him into like a 2-for-1 and being like, I want to make this move that seems quote unquote like lateral. You throw in Ryan O'Reilly, who just picked up off waivers. He's been over a point per game. Like that can be enough to get you over the hump.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say, I think blanket statement for our top 3 guys, they're all pure Cs and they're all under 40%, and they all feel like they should be higher. And I'll attribute a lot of that to them being pure Cs because I think that's the deepest position. So a lot of leagues that aren't as deep might not have room on their rosters for them. But yeah, these guys are all guys who should be rostered right now. So let's go into our
number 2.
At number 2, he's back in our top 3. Look, if a guy's going to play this well, he's going to make it into our top 3. Look, I couldn't resist. Well, I'm ready to be hurt again. And so is he, probably. So we're talking about Josh Norris of the Buffalo Sabres, line 2, power play 1 currently. He is just on an absolute tear. I mean, if you haven't heard the tales of Josh Norris, go check out his game log. Since coming back from injury, I think he's a point in every single game. The power play's clicking. He shoots. He wins faceoffs. He hits. I mean, the hits have slowed down, but like he can. He's shown he can do that in the past. And this is just a no-brainer. I mean, we talk about this every single week, it feels like.
If I feel like there's no bigger Josh Norris fans than, first of all, me and maybe you, Josh. I don't know.
I'm a huge fan. I definitely wanted him in the draft this year. Like, look, I mean, every injury he gets just makes me like, more and more wary of him. But I've never doubted the skill or the deployment. I know for a fact that he's a steal wherever you get him in the draft because of that. It's really just about the health. But, look, it's a waiver pickup. Grab him while
Yeah.
he's hot and drop him if he gets injured. It's a no-brainer.
As we speak, he's only 33% owned. I think Buffalo is on the come up. Like since the GM change, like they've actually been pretty solid, and I can expect them to be competitive rest of season. I'm not gonna say they're gonna be good, but I'm gonna say they're gonna try,
Yeah,
and that's more than some teams. So
absolutely. I mean, something interesting with the standings is that in the East, at least, the worst team in the East is like 5 points out of a playoff spot. It's so close, and that makes it that like there's not really any clear tanking teams in the East. You look at some of the teams who are playing awful, and they're
mhm.
still in the playoff hunt. Whereas in the West, it feels like there's much more clear. These teams
Yeah.
suck. They're going to start tanking. So it kind of makes it that I think it's a bit more interesting for these bottom teams in the East. They're still trying to win, so they'll still try and produce and make moves and deployment and whatever that'll
Mhm.
lead to wins. So yeah, you look at Buffalo, who's like pretty far down that list in the standings, and then you look at how many points out they are, and they're like, yeah, why shouldn't they compete? So Norris, a guy who's like their best center, is I mean, if unless you count Tate as a center because he's playing there now, but I
Mhm.
don't see that lasting. But yeah, so no, this is a no brainer.
And I do think that, we are at a certain point, like we love looking at the numbers, we love looking at the statistics and the averages and what we can expect guys to either regress up, regress down. But we do also watch all the hockey games. And when you watch Josh Norris play, he's actually good. Did you see his last goal?
The way his body moves on the ice is just
If only JQ was here, he'd be thrilled
yeah,
to hear you say that.
exactly.
Um, but did you see the
Yeah,
last goal?
yeah, just
It,
filthy.
he has some talent, guys. It's not
He
just
does. I mean, there's a reason they traded him 1-for-1 for like Dylan Cousins, right? Like it wasn't like everyone was like, that's a dumb trade because of the injury history.
yeah.
But you take out the injury history, that's a perfectly reasonable trade.
Yeah. I think he was due for a change of scenery. And like you said, like the injury history, like it can't be avoided at this point. Like we talk about guys being squishy, like he's top of that list for when it comes to squishy. But when he's not being squishy, he's still sick.
When he's
Uh,
not being squished and he's at full, shape or whatever,
And
then
it's such a high ceiling too because you're picking him up off waivers. It's not like you're giving value from your team in a trade and hoping that he stays healthy. Like you're just picking him up
exactly.
off waivers. If he gets hurt, it's like nothing happened. You just cut
Exactly.
him.
Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
strongly recommend this guy can have rest of season impact for your fantasy team.
So what are the odds that now he's made it back in our top 3 that he gets injured
If
next week?
it does happen, it's because you made a little comment about his injury history as you're saying his name.
If
So
it happens, we got to
blame
stop putting
Josh.
him in the top 3 because
Blame Josh.
he didn't get injured when we didn't put him in the top 3. But
You
every
put him.
time we have,
Yeah,
he's gotten injured. So
we'll
we'll
put
see
him
what
as an
happens.
honorable 3.5 or something.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's go to
Number one.
so lit. Okay, at number 1, we've got Elias Lindholm of the Boston Bruins, line 1 power play 1 center. He gets to play, like I said, with the 2 best wingers in the league, which is Pasternak and Morgan Geeky. And I love saying that.
I know.
And Boston's power play is number 4 in the league. And
Still,
look, we're far enough into the season that I think they just have a good power play. Like I don't
yeah.
think this is like one of those things where they're just going to drop off and become like 25th in the league over the course of the year. So this is the number 1 center on a team with one of the best power plays in the league, gets to play with amazing wingers, and Boston has the best playoff schedule of anyone, tied with the Rangers.
Hmm.
So this is such a no-brainer pickup to me. I have him on my team. I got him as kind of a throw-in in a trade where I also got Pasternak, and it was just unreal throw-in. Over a point per game over the past month. He wins face-offs. He like doesn't shoot that much, but like he can also contribute at hits and blocks, like one of each per game usually. So I love him. I'm super happy to have him on my team.
Yeah, everything Josh said, I agree with. Unfortunately, because Josh does have him on his fantasy team, but the points have been there. The power play exposure is there. He's a double-digit face-off winner, and I will say, like, obviously, he's kind of like a Ryan O'Reilly, but like slightly better in the back categories, where like he'll shoot like guys, it's nothing crazy. It's like a 1.3, so you're
Yeah.
not expecting much. His hits can fluctuate. He can like have a week where he'll get you a 6 game hit, and then have 6 game hit, six
Six
hit game.
hit game.
Yeah, sorry. I was like, what is English? But then he can get like straight zeros there for like 6. So it's
Yeah,
just
kind of
it's really
like
weird.
here's here's a classic Elias Lindholm stat line for someone who doesn't have him on his team.
Hmm.
You're gonna get 1 assist, 1 point. It's gonna be a power play assist. You're gonna get 1 shot on goal, 8 face-off wins, 1 hit, and 1 block. That's
Yeah.
like a classic Elias Lindholm game, and that's great. You take that.
And then sometimes you'll have games where he'll get you, 0 points, 1 shot, 12 face-off wins, 6 hits, and 1 block. And you're like, what even happened here?
Yeah,
But alas, we
exactly.
take those and we move on.
Exactly. So yeah, so that's our top 3. Let's dive into some bangers with a hard B for this
Bangers.
week. There we go. So let's start with
Number 5.
at number 5. I think this guy is firmly cementing himself as a hits beast. I think he might be leading the league still. But we've got
Yeah, it's
Yakov
nuts.
Trenin of the Minnesota Wild. He's averaging 1.3 shots, 4.7 hits, and that's over the season. He's been even better recently.
Yep.
And yeah, and now he's on line 2. Look, who knows how long that lasts once they start getting guys back. But this is just a very, very pure hits, but elite hits type of play. Again,
Mhm.
only 2 games this week, but 4 games the week after. So it's a
Mhm.
solid 2-week stream at the very least. And there's a guy in a bangers league who can stay on your roster the rest of the season just to win you that hits category.
Yeah, his value definitely depends on how valuable bangers are. Like if you're in a categories league and your league is pretty deep, he can have a lot of value because he can completely change, that one category just on his lonesome. Or if you're in a league that values, hits in terms of points and like you get 1 point for every hit, then let's say 2 hits equals like an assist, like he can basically get you like 2 assists a night, if not 3, pretty much if you're counting it like that.
Yeah.
So I think he can be very valuable. And like Josh said, like this is the only guy on the list that he might have 2 games this week, but he's got 4 games the next week. So some long-term potential there for you to hold him for like this week and next.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to
Number 4.
and number 4, the staple of this list. We've got Radko Gudas of the Anaheim Ducks. I mean, we can't not include him. He's like
Yep.
the quintessential bangers defenseman, and he's never above 40%. So, like, why are we going to recommend worse guys when we have him available to list? So, he's 1.4 shots, 3.4 hits, 1.8 blocks on the season, and only 2 games this week, 3 games the week after. But again, this is a season long hold. Like, I don't even know. Like, I feel like everyone who's listening who's in a bangers league, he's already rostered. But like I said, our rule is under 40%, so we got to keep including him.
Yeah, usually we put him higher on this list, but I think he's slowed down a little bit over the last 2 weeks, I would say. But
Yeah.
that's not uncommon for these bangers guys too. Like they'll have weeks where they're getting like 5 hits, 5 blocks, it feels like, for stretches of games, and they'll have the odd week where it's like they'll get some zeros there, and you're like, I just picked him up. How the hell is he getting zeros?
It's so frustrating.
He's averaging over 5 a game. Like, how is he getting zeros? It honestly makes no sense, but it happens. And I think Radko Gudas is like, going through that right now where you're not getting the blocks from him, I don't think. But the hits are still there, and he's doing what he usually does in shots, and any point is kind of just a cherry on top. So always one of the
Absolutely.
best bangers.
Yeah, I think these next couple guys, the reason I put them higher is because they have 3 games this week as opposed to the
Mhm.
2. So obviously we're trying to optimize schedule. But let's go to
Number 3.
at number 3. We've got a guy who actually wasn't on our list for a few weeks, but we're bringing him back with a nice schedule. We've got Emil Heineman of the New York Islanders, still averaging on the season 1.9 shots, 3.4 hits. And again, that 3-game schedule this week is going to be
Mhm.
really nice for him. So I like him. I mean, the points have definitely dried up. Horvat's out day to day. When he comes back, that definitely increases his point potential. But
Mhm.
in terms of pure bangers, I'm not going to complain with having him for 3 games this week.
Yeah, a guy that you're able to get 2 shots out of and over 3 hits out of, like, that's very rare. I think that's why Emil Heineman is one of those guys that has kind of, I would say, come out of nowhere and be valuable for fantasy this season, where we expected him to be somewhat good. Like, he used to be on the Habs, like, we really loved him. It was sad to see him go. But this is the type of guy that, like, he wasn't relevant on the Habs, and on the Islanders. He's got a little bit of juice to him. So if you need
Yeah,
hits and some shots, like, there's not many better guys this week, I think, that you can stream.
that's it. It's a really tough week to stream. So
Mhm.
so he's a nice one. All right, let's go to
Number 2.
at number 2, we've got Jake McCabe of the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is more of a switch up. This is for blocks leagues more than hits leagues. So he still hits. So he's averaging 1.5 hits on the season, but he's averaging 2.6 blocks. He's also pimming, if your league counts that, and he's got that 3-game week. So he's averaging 22 minutes a night, and he's a great banger, but very blocks focused. Most of all the other guys on this list are hits focused. So thought I'd throw in a blocks guy for the leagues that count that.
Yeah, I think McCabe also is like, he's kind of low key cementing himself as, a guy that you kind of hold for the season, given the categories that he's able to influence. Like 2.6 blocks is elite numbers.
Hmm.
There's if you look around the league, there's not a lot of defensemen that are hitting that threshold that are like good at anything else. And I think Jake McCabe is one of the few names that, like, yeah, you wish his hits were a little higher, but he's playing 22 minutes a night, and he might not get you a shot, but the blocks are so elite that in a categories league, I think he has more value than in let's say a points league that has individual points values for hits, blocks, and shots.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to
Number one, the GOAT.
at number one. We have Big Ben Sherratt of the Detroit Red Wings. He's got a 3-game week, so that's a great schedule. He's averaging over 2 hits, over 2 blocks, over a shot per game. He slowed down a bit over the past week, but if you look at his past month, past 2 weeks, season-long averages, they're all kind of unreal. And we love him here. You know, I've always been a Ben Sherratt fan. Kevin now has him on his team, so he's
Maybe too
joined me in
much
the
of a Ben
fandom.
Sherratt fan.
But yeah, no, this is a great pickup, especially with that 3-game week coming up.
Yep. I mean, listen, we just highlighted with Gudis slowing down a little bit in the blocks. I think Sherrod just had one of his worst weeks of the season. And yes, he's on my roster, so I'm sad, but he didn't really come to deliver in the hits and blocks this last week. But I think this upcoming week, like, listen, it's the holidays. He's going to be mean. Maybe he gets a little more of those.
He's gonna be full of holiday food and just like throwing that body around trying to work off the calories. So it's gonna be a good week.
Listen, put yourself in the mindset of an NHL player that wants to burn off the calories from the holiday meals. I think it's a no-brainer.
Exactly. Okay, let's jump into the goalie zone of the episode. We've got the top 3 quantity goalies. These are guys who should get you 2+ starts. I will say this week was very difficult to find
Yeah.
3 quantity goalies because most teams only play twice and there's not
Yeah.
many pure starters available under 40%. So I think I came up with some good ones, but there's going to be some asterisks involved. So let's dive in with
Number 3.
at number 3, we've got Alex Lyon of the Buffalo Sabres. They play Ottawa and Boston this week. He's been starting every single game for the past week and a half, 2 weeks. He's
They've been
starting
winning.
to cement himself as the starter on that team. But any week where there's only 2 games, you know, if they just decide he's played 6 games in a row, we're going to give him a break. It's possible. So again, there's an asterisk on all these quantity ones that maybe they don't get both starts, but he's guaranteed getting you one and has the chance at getting you both.
Yep. And I think I really like what I'm seeing from Buffalo lately, right? Like they're on a 4-game win streak as we speak. Not saying they're never going to lose a game again, but Lyon may also be playing for a new job too. Like, so he might either become the starter for Buffalo the rest of the season or be traded to a team that needs goalie help. So I think there's a lot to like with Alex Lyon right now, and we've seen him have stretches of strong quality in the past. So
Yeah,
he's got it in him.
absolutely. He's got that dog in him.
He does got that dog in him.
Or that lion in him, I guess.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, let's go to
Number 2.
at number 2, we've got Anton Forsberg of the LA Kings. They play a back-to-back of Columbus and Seattle, and then they play Anaheim. So he's guaranteed getting one of the back-to-back starts. And then if Darcy Kemper is still out, he'll also get Anaheim. So that's another one of those asterisks. And like we mentioned in our news episode, Forsberg's not necessarily a guy we're like running to grab. We don't think it's like a season-winning grab if Kemper's out for some time. But these are all easy opponents. And LA, despite not being able to score goals, they don't let in that many either. So I like him for this week.
Yeah, I think Forsberg. Listen, the best thing is we talked about Kemper being one of the main guys as to why LA is being successful and winning games that they're winning. But we've seen Forsberg have a couple good games here and there. Like, I'm not saying that he's the most reliable, but if you need quantity, like, he's the main starter right now. So on a schedule like this, like, and you need 2 starts and you need to make a pickup early in the week, I think he's the guy.
Yeah, exactly. All right. And then at
Number 1.
I was going to say we've got Slim Pickens this week in terms of quantity goalies, or should I say Slim Pickards? Because we've got Calvin Pickard of the Edmonton Oilers.
Listen, I admire the thought and the attempt.
Thank you. I'll take it. So yeah, Calvin Pickard of the Edmonton Oilers. Surprising absolutely no one. Tristan Jarry got injured immediately after joining the Edmonton Oilers. Now we've got a back-to-back this weekend. Calvin Pickard and Connor Ingram are going to get both those starts. And I think whichever one of those two performs better, unless they perform the same, it'll go to Pickard. But if Ingram has a great game and Pickard has a garbage game, then let's flip this recommendation to Ingram. So wait and see on this weekend. But Next week, they only have 2 games, but they're both against Calgary. Super easy matchups. And I think that they're going to go with the same goalie for both. So, look, I think it's going to be Pickard, but crazier things have happened, even though Ingram's putting terrible AHL numbers. Sometimes AHL and NHL numbers don't translate. So keep an eye out on that. And again, slim Pickards for this week.
You're obsessed with that Slim Pickards. But listen,
It was so good.
you're picking up the starter on an Edmonton team that has less competition now. Like, guys, I I told you guys that we were getting some negative feedback, let's put it that way, on our TikTok where we talked about how
Have you gone
the,
into gloat now?
I have already gone into gloat, and they have completely moved the goalpost. They've been like, well, Skinner's not that good anyway. So I'm like, yeah, at least he's healthy and playing on the ice. Like, we literally mentioned that this was a terrible trade for Edmonton because they traded for a guy that's double the salary, older, injury prone, and they had to give away not only a warm body and a defenseman to make up for the cap that they're getting, and also a second round pick just for a lateral move for a goalie that a week in is already hurt.
Yeah.
So, and in all the games that he played for Edmonton, did not get one game over a 900 save percentage. So
Yeah.
what are we gloating about here, guys? Like, I don't know, but I think now Edmonton would really like to have Stuart Skinner on their roster is all I'm gonna say. But they get Calvin Pickard and they don't have a choice. So that is that. And listen, maybe this gives the opportunity for Pickard with nobody breathing down his neck because Jari is hurt. Maybe he can run with it. Like, listen, if he gets good, like, I don't want to say he can be the starter even when Jari is healthy because they just traded for him. They want Jari to be healthy because or else people are getting fired. But yeah, listen, it's a situation you're picking up the starter on a great team.
Yeah, and I mean, 2 games of Calgary, I'm taking that every day of the week. All right, let's go to the top 3 quality goalies. Still slim pickings for this week, but at least there were a couple back-to-backs I was able to choose for us. So let's start with
number 3.
At number 3, we've got Jonas Johansson. I'm just gonna look it up so that next time he's on the episode,
it's Jonas Johansson.
Okay, God.
I feel like I mentioned it every time we record and we mention his name. You're always like, is it Jonas or Jonas? I'm like, it's Jonas. And you're like, I don't know what it is yet, but I'm just going to say
anyways, one of these days I'll figure out what Jonas Johansson's name is, but
he can't keep getting away with
this. Yeah, so he's the backup goalie for Tampa. Now that Vasilevsky's back, they have a back-to-back of Florida and Montreal. Look, I don't love these matchups, but it's Tampa. Tampa could beat any team. So, and again, there wasn't much to choose from. So that's why he is on the number 3 spot for this week.
Yeah, you pay attention to which of these games he's going to start. My hope is that he plays the Montreal game because I do think Florida's a little bit more menacing.
Yeah.
But either way, if I need a quality start, like you're streaming the Tampa goalie, and there could be worse options. So
yeah. That's a glowing recommendation. It could be worse.
It's a tricky week, my friend.
It is. All right, let's go to
number 2.
At number 2, we've got David Riddick of the New York Islanders. I still hate him from like 3 years ago for like this one random goal he let in. But anyways, I'm over it.
Big save Dave.
And they've got a back-to-back, Rangers and Columbus. Neither team is a team I'm worried about too much. Islanders have been pretty solid. They're always a good defensive team. So I like Riddick as a spot start for this week.
Yep. And I would say like he's had some good quality in him at times this year. I'm not trying to put too much stock into that because we've seen what he can do in the past. But yeah, in a week like this, like he's a good stream option.
Yeah. All right. And let's go to
number 1.
At number 1, we've got Sam Ersson of the Philadelphia Flyers. They get to play Vancouver and Chicago on a back-to-back. 2 matchups I am loving because they both suck. Chicago without Bedard is nothing. Vancouver without Quinn Hughes is, I mean, unbeatable apparently, but but pretty much nothing. And Philly is randomly actually sick this year. Look, not necessarily in terms of their offense.
Actually, sick is overemphasizing it.
They are not bottom 5 in the league.
Yes, thank you.
I don't even think they're bottom 10. They're in the mix, which is way better than I expected. I'm also a bit biased because I have Vladar on my team and he's been unreal. So yeah, I kind of like what Philly. Look, I don't think they have the best offense, but Tocchet is a very defensive-minded coach, and it's showing in the goalie stats. So I love this as this is definitely my top pickup for a single start this week.
Yeah, I agree. And Ersson also has it like. He's one of the only guys that he has it in him to potentially be the guy one day. Like Vladar is like, I feel like he's got the job this year. It feels like, unless his play really, deteriorates. But Urson is the guy that they could have for the future type of thing. So that if the level of play changes, he always has a little bit of upside there compared to these other guys that are always going to be pure backups.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, you're just streaming him for one star this upcoming week, and it could be a good one. And that's the whole point.
Yeah. All right, that wraps up our Week 12 streamer/waiver streamers episode. I'll let Kevin do the spiel because I can only handle so much. I did the beginning one.
It's true. I get it. But listen, guys, if you made it this far, we really appreciate it. I think everything has been booming lately. So
Boom.
thank you guys for rocking with us. If you're not already following us on all the social medias out there, please do. The links are in either the podcast description of where you're listening to this, or those in the social media handles of everywhere we are. Make sure you join the Discord community. Guys, it's a growing community. We're having so much fun there. And I think there's no better place to talk fantasy with other people that are like-minded and love fantasy. So join the community
and I will
there.
say, I was talking to my wife about like the the Discord community, how it's going great and all that, and she made a good point. It was like, look, I'm not saying we're necessarily going to blow up and all that, but how cool is it to get to talk directly with the hosts of a podcast, while they're still small, and like we're super interactive on there. We're talking
You're
like
calling us small.
I mean, we're growing. It's our first really like full year of doing it, or second.
Yeah.
But like, let's say, if everything goes well, like 5 years from now, we're like huge, and you guys could be like, yeah, I was chatting with that guy like, nonstop, like on Discord. Like he was giving me like
And
trade
I'm still
advice,
chatting
whatever.
with
Like,
him.
yeah, exactly. Like, we're not going anywhere, but I would just like, it's just like, it's still,
No, it's really cool.
it's a really cool kind of thing. If you're in a fandom, and also who cares how big you are? If you're a fan of the show and you get to just chat with us, it's pretty cool. Like whenever I'm a fan of something, if I could chat with the creators like directly, that's a cool experience.
I've never been invested so much in other people's fantasy teams as I have been this year. It feels like when I hear you guys,
Pull off
your
a
teams
sick trade.
pull off a sick trade, like I'm
so
so happy,
happy.
I'm so
Yeah.
proud. And when I hear you guys being like I'm top of the standings or whatever, I'm like super happy. When I hear you guys be like I had an off week and it's bad, I'm like I feel really responsible too. So I'm like,
Okay, what can we do about this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What can we do to fix this? How do we go about this? Like, we genuinely really
Absolutely.
want to help you guys. Like, we have fun helping you guys at Talking Fantasy. So that's the main thing here. And so if you're not in the community, listen, the link is wherever you're listening to this. And if you've never heard about Discord and you're like, I don't know what that is, sounds too intimidating or whatever, guys, it's like super easy. It's just an app you download. You make a little account. You click the link in our bio or wherever you're listening to this, and you join the Banger Management fantasy hockey community on Discord, and it's a lot of fun stuff happening there. And if you're watching on YouTube, please leave a like. I promise after Christmas I will have my constant face on the screen because I've been having some tumultuous issues.
It's just my face this week.
Because right now you're looking at Josh, and I know that's not what you want to do. So, so leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. The community is growing there too. Is really exciting. We've only been on YouTube, it feels like a couple months, and it's been so fun. So.
Oh yeah, and I also wanted to give a quick shout out to Kara, who's in our Discord, one of our OGs. She went on like all our YouTube videos and left really nice comments, and we saw it, and I love it. So I wanted to throw a quick shout out there.
Kara, if you're listening, you're like our number one fan. Really appreciate everything you do. You already know this because I messaged you on Discord, but Kara even made a TikTok account to go defend us in the Stuart Skinner debate. Like, I've never seen a more diehard fan than that, and we appreciate
we love
you.
It. Yeah.
And on that note, take it away, Ernie.
Bow, Banger Management Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Woo!
Woo! Woo from Japan.
Japanese woo.
For Jakey.
Yeah, exactly.